Nanning and Uno Stations, Groundwater Assessment Analysis Report. This is a groundwater assessment analysis for Nanning and Uno stations in South Australia. These stations are occasionally collectively referred to as Nanning Station. This groundwater assessment analysis was conducted by Dr. Tigran Sadoian, Chief Hydrogeologist, for Aquaterex. The study area encompassing Nanning and Uno stations was defined, and a groundwater assessment analysis was performed to determine if groundwater of sufficient quality and quantity might exist within the properties. Remote sensing and advanced digital image processing techniques were applied to delineate key features of the property's subterranean hydrology. Products that were derived from satellite imagery, airborne geophysical surveys, LiDAR and ground surveys, were analyzed and incorporated in the interpretation of the hydrologic system. The remote sensing assessment concluded that there are several strategic areas of interest. And, given that the groundwater assessment analysis is a positive result, it is recommended that a full analysis be conducted on the identified strategic areas of interest, in order to distinguish the best locations for field verification and borehole surveys. Nanning Station is a pastoral station in South Australia, and is currently operating as a sheep station. The station occupies an area of approximately 4,000 square kilometers, and is situated between Lakes Gairdner, McFarlane, and Gillies, approximately 69 kilometers north of Kimba, and 66 kilometers west of Iron Knob, at the eastern end of the Gorler Ranges. Nanning has well-developed infrastructure and water distribution systems throughout the property. By effectively utilizing the existing infrastructure systems, it should be possible to efficiently direct water from one location to another, ideally from south to north due to the approximate 1-degree slope in that direction. There is a history of water bores being drilled on both Nanning and Uno. The actual productivity and water quality for each bore is unknown, but based on current data, no bores have been dug deeper than 103 meters, and all but one have salinity levels deemed unfit for human consumption. There are two dominant geological formations in the study area. The first is a sedimentary formation, which covers the northern and southern parts of Nanning, and almost the entirety of Uno. The second is a formation characterized by 1.5 billion-year-old volcanic rocks, which outcrop in the central portion of Nanning. These volcanic rocks are represented by old and highly weathered lavas, most of which has columnal jointed structure. Small outcrops of meta-intrusive, felsic igneous rocks are spread in the central part of Uno property and along the northeastern shore of Lake Gillies. The geological maps presented in this report do not include all the fractures and faults that exist in the area. However, a full study and analysis would reveal the extent of all rock formations, fractures, and fissures on the property. Elevation and topographic data confirm the presence of a dense net of fractures in the lava coverage region. These fractures have subsequently been transformed into pathways for surface water flows. An elevational analysis indicates that the prevailing slope gradient is oriented from south to north and is equal to approximately 1 degree. This slope trend may be useful for water distribution and well location site selection. The watershed analysis supports the inferred presence of a dense net of fractures in the lava coverage area. Catchment areas over Nanning send surface water flows northeast, toward Lake McFarlane, and northwest toward Lake Gairdner. The main catchment area, over Uno, accumulates and directs surface flows toward Lake Gillies. An elevation analysis indicates that the prevailing slope gradient is oriented from south to north, and is equal to approximately 1 degree. This slope trend may be useful for water distribution and well location site selection. The change of color in the map indicates the flow of water to the closest water body. The main magnetic features coincide with the fault lines identified on the geological map. The highest linear magnetic anomalies may be related to highly fractured faults or dikes, reaching close to the surface. The lowest magnetic anomalies observed at the central part of the Uno property are covered by sedimentary formations of the same age, and almost the same physical properties as the highest anomalies. These extremely low anomalies could be explained by highly fractured and faulted zones under the sedimentary formations. Water saturation of these sedimentary formations can result from water migration through fractures and infiltration from the dense net of surface water flow in the columnal jointed volcanic formations. Low gravitational anomalies indicated by the blue end of the color scale generally coincide with the low magnetic anomalies, most likely due to the reasons discussed in the magnetics section. Higher gravitational anomalies indicated by the red end of the scale in the northwestern portion of the study area, indicate an uplift of bedrock, which may serve as a dam, and favor accumulation of groundwater in the zones adjacent to the boundary between Nanning and Uno. The northeastern and southwestern edges of Nanning can also be considered promising for groundwater accumulation. Algorithmic analysis of geophysical datasets sort soil types into a variety of classes, based on varying characteristics. These classes can aid in the understanding of landscape formation and soil salinity tracking. Careful study of soil salinity should be conducted when working to understand groundwater salinity, known to exist in the study area. Adequate insight into soil salinity can also aid in land management decision-making. The salinity index is an estimate of variations in soil salinity. The salinity index corresponds well with surface water flows and the moisture index. Normalized difference moisture index is used to estimate both soil and vegetation moisture. Relatively high moisture values correspond to the surface flow pathways and arid lakes surrounding the study area. Overall, the moisture distribution coincides well with the salinity index, which indicates that the soil salinity distribution may follow surface flow patterns. Normalized difference vegetation index is a specialized quantification analysis aimed at identifying variation of vegetation types and coverage. Denser coverage of native vegetation is observable in the central part of Uno property, indicating better conditions for plant growth. One explanation for this could be the presence of groundwater and higher soil moisture, as affirmed by the normalized difference soil moisture index. The study area, encompassing Nanning and Uno, has undergone remote analysis, utilizing various remote sensing techniques, algorithmic analysis, spatial data combinations, and a multidisciplinary assessment of work. The study was aimed at determining if groundwater of sufficient quality and quantity might exist within the study area, to identify the most promising locations for water boreholes, determine the probability and risk associated with salinity contamination, and identify if redistribution of extracted water to other areas of Nanning and Uno could potentially be conducted without significant energy consumption. There are enough indicators that significant groundwater might be available for tapping. We recommend moving to the next phase of investigation for a full intensive remote analysis to be done to identify specific areas of interest. Based on this groundwater assessment analysis, 5 strategic areas of interest have been defined for further investigation, to identify the most ideal potential borehole sites. All 5 strategic areas of interest should be analyzed, and a report with identified areas of interest for on-site survey noted. Our final recommendations will be available once an in-depth analysis of these 5 strategic areas is complete. Thank you for watching our presentation. Please contact your Aquaterex representative for further information about this or any other service we can help with.